In this video, we are going to walk through making the nest monogram design and adding a custom name in Cricut Design Space. So once you're in Cricut Design Space, you will start a new project, and in the left-hand panel, you will click Upload. You'll click Upload Image and click Browse. Now on some computers you can drag the file, but on some computers Cricut Design Space produces an error when you drag the file into this box. So it's generally best to click Browse if you have that issue. Once you click Browse, you'll navigate to the folder that has the Nest Monogram Shadowbox file, and you will click the SVG file. Oh, I have to rename that. That is incorrect. Your file should start with SVG. If it doesn't, make sure it ends in .svg. That's the correct file, and I will fix that. Then click Open. And it's a large image because it contains all of the monogram layers inside of it. So give it a second to load, and then click Continue. And then click down here, click Upload. Okay. Now, when you open it up, it looks like this. And that might be a little bit confusing. So what I'm going to do is zoom out. The way that I zoom out is by holding, down here in the left-hand panel, you'll see a zoom option. So I'm just gonna, not that much. 25, okay. So and then if I hold the space bar down, it gives me this little hand icon that I can move around. So I'm only doing this to show you what is included here. So all of the layers required for this project are included in this one file. And so on the right hand side, you'll see a group here. This is going to contain all of these alphabet letters plus the other layers that are part of the project, as well as the alphabet that you can use for the name. You don't have to. You can use a font, you can use other letters, but it's provided here in case you want to use it. So you will go over to Group here, and when you click the little arrow, you can see we've got, these are the layers in the design. Down here in this group is the alphabet that you can use to make the name, to cut out the name if you want to use an alphabet. Okay, and then this group that's right in the middle of all of these layers is all of the monogram layers. So what you're going to do is choose which letter you want to use. That's the first step. For this one, I am going to I'm going to use A because that's my name. And I will go down here and I'm going to find it right here. Okay. I don't know if they're in perfect order, but the other option is that you can, if you're clicking on this layer, you can just keep double clicking until you get to the letter that you want. And then what I'm going to actually do is copy and paste it. It's just a little bit easier than trying to maneuver all of these layers. So I'm going to click Command Copy, or on a PC that might be a little bit different. However you do copy and paste, but I'm on a Mac. So Command Copy, then I'm going to click all the way over here and Command V for paste. So Command C and then Command V. Okay, and then since I've got my monogram layer here, the letter A, I don't need any of these other letters. So I'm just going to delete that whole group. So I'm highlighting it here and just pressing delete because I don't need it anymore. Now I'm going to click and drag on these layers so that I can just move them over a little bit. And then I'm going to zoom in, scroll up until I could do 100%. Okay, so now we have all the layers. This layer with the letter on it is not the layer that you're going to cut the name out of though. So once you have this layer here, let's move it into the correct spot. So I'm putting it on top of all of the other layers, and then I'm going to click and hold it and drag it underneath the white layer here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 from the bottom. Okay. And then the layer above it, this white layer, is the one that you're going to cut the name out of. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that process. So here are all the letters, and I'm going to make my name. So I'm going to double click into A, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to copy and paste it instead of trying to like drag it around. So I'm going to do Command C and click up here on the group, and all that does is make it paste above the group, which is fine for now. That will help us find it in a few minutes. Okay, I need an A. I'm double clicking until I get the box is only around the M. Then Control C. I'll click on the group again. Okay. So, and then I need a N. Now another way to grab the letter that you want is to go into the group here and open up the letter group and find it. Let's see, I'm doing all capital letters and selecting that and doing Control C, scrolling up here, Control V. Okay, so that's just another way, which might be easier for some of you. So I need a D, and we'll do that. And that's all the letters of my first name. Okay, so since I have all the letters, now I don't need this group anymore that contains any of this. So I'm going to delete it so it's not in my way. Oh, I don't want to delete that group. Just this one down here that has the letters in it. Okay, so we're going to delete that. Now I have a few more A's in my name, so I'm going to copy and paste what I need. Okay, all right, so now I have all the letters of my name right here. I am going to click and drag to highlight only those letters, and up here in the Align panel, I'm going to align bottom, and then I'm going to click that again and go down to distribute horizontally and see if I like how that looks. So I'm just gonna use the arrow keys to kind of move the letters a little bit so that they just look a little nicer. They're not too far apart, not too close. And I'm using the arrow keys so that I don't accidentally move them up or down. I only want to move them left and right. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to click and highlight all of those letters, and I'm going to go down here to combine, and I'm going to click unite. Okay, you could also, actually, I'm going to undo that and do that again. You could also click weld, which actually might be, there's not really a difference in how it cuts, but this turns it into one layer, which might work better in this case. So let's do that. Let's weld it. Okay, now we want to cut it out of this white layer. So just for the time being, I'm going to turn off the top layer and the second layer, and I'm going to leave this is the one we're cutting it out of, okay? So I'm just gonna drag it into the center. Now, if you don't see that line pop up, that's probably just a setting in your Cricut Design Space settings. But another way to make sure that it's centered is to select the layer that you want to cut it out of and hold down Shift and select the name, and then just do what we just did. Go up here and click Center Horizontal, and that will make sure it's right in the middle. Okay, before I cut this out of that layer though, I am gonna turn on these top layers just to make sure that it doesn't, you see my A is gonna get a little bit cut off here if I leave it in this spot. I mean, it's not gonna get cut off, but it's gonna be covered by that layer. So I am going to actually just make this a little bit smaller. Okay, and maybe, there we go. It's fine if it's overlapping a little bit because it's like a layered file and it kind of looks nice. But you can experiment with this, you know, make it how you like it. But I like how that looks right now. So now we're gonna cut it out of that white layer. So I'm gonna click the name, and I'm gonna hold down Shift and click the white layer that we're cutting it out of. And then we are gonna go back down here and click Combine and Subtract, okay? So now you see that it subtracted it from that layer, but it also moved that layer all the way up to the top. So in order to see what the finished project is gonna look like, I want it to be in the correct order here. So I am going to drag this layer back down, and again, we're going just above the monogram letter there to see. So that's what my final project will look like when I cut it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and just double check that I like it. If you want to play around with the colors, you know, you can do that. And if you're ready to cut it, just go ahead and click Make and follow the instructions on the screen. And you don't have to save it. We cut it with a mat, and it will automatically set it up to cut the layers on the different sheets of paper that you have. Okay, so that's how you make our nest monogram file.